like. I know it feels like I'm in love. I know it feels like. I know it feels like I'm in love.
Well, hello there, Ophiuchus, and welcome into your February reading. So happy to have you here today. If you're new here, I'm Cyndi. Hello. Thanks for stopping by. Let's get comfortable. We're going to look at these energies today that we're picking up. And the question I propose to the universe and our spirit guides is, I love you, but you need to see this. What is it that the universe wants us to see? What is it that our divine counterpart wants us to see or be made aware of so that we can better align with our greatest and highest good, right? That's what we're here for, is we're learning how to spiritually grow now that we know we're a spiritual energetic being residing in a human vessel, our meat suit. And this is all about learning to balance the divine feminine and masculine energies that are within us. So when I speak of the divine feminine and masculine, they're energies, not genders. And remember that anytime you're hearing this message, your spirit guides directed you here because there is something within this message that you were meant to hear. So let's take a look at these energies we're picking up today. I pulled some cards and I started off first with an angel and oracle card called First Breath came out for you. And this is about the beginner's mind. As a newborn baby takes its first breath of life, we too take our first breaths out into the abyss where we are learning to alchemize these energies. That's what I just said. So divine feminine, masculine within and externally in every relationship or factor of our life, we're learning to balance. So give yourself a break and allow patience when manifesting intentionally. When you are aligning with your greatest and highest timeline, and you are setting the intention to bring in to your reality what it is you want to experience, we need to be patient. You are stepping into your rightful place among the cosmos as a co-creator of your universe. You went to the schoolroom of earth. You incarnated here to learn the lessons. You found yourself again during your spiritual awakening. You're getting back to the real you and understanding who you are. Now we need to integrate what we've learned as a student of the universe. So I've pulled some cards for you, and we start off with the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. Now this is an energy of spirit encouraging you to trust the process and embrace the power of living in the now. Not in the past, not in regret, not in focusing on what happened in the past, and not on the future, having expectations and trying to control our future, but to live in that flow, the 4D, 5D frequency flow of unconditional love. I clarified that with anxiety, and this is all about the loss of control because you can't predict what the future holds. So this is when anxiety arrives in our life. This is being too focused on the future, trying to control it, trying to think of every outcome in the mind and not living in soul and allowing things just to happen and take place. Now, anxiety is an emotion, and emotions are just energy that we put out, but this one is very low on the Hawkins scale. You're worrying because you believe the unknown is worse than where you are right now. You're like, I don't know what that unknown path holds for me. I feel safe, warm in my little cocoon. The baby's warm in the womb until it comes out, and then it's screaming at the top of its lungs. So when you start to awaken, you are starting to realize these things and you're learning how to function now, knowing that you're an energetic being. I just saw 444, if that's relevant to anybody listening. So someone I'm speaking with here there seems to be some anxiety, and their ego operating system is like reinforcing that emotion, and it keeps bringing it up because it wants you to overcome it. It wants you to release it. It wants you to surrender, not knowing the end of the movie, right? Cliffhanger. Universe loves the cliffhangers because it likes to bring in the magic, and normally it's so much greater and more magical than you ever thought you could experience. So trust and enjoy the process. Put your thoughts on nothing but the joy you feel when you are living in this very moment and you are manifesting what it is you desire. And honestly, this is how we jump timelines. It's redirecting our thoughts, redirecting our energy from a low energy frequency of guilt, fear, shame, regret, fear, and anxiety, depression. And it is having us raise our energetic frequency. And remember, where our attention goes, our energy flows. So if you're focused on the past, if you're focused on the negative, if you're focused on the worries and fears of the future, you are missing out on living in the now, in that zero state. Remember, whoever's listening here, that you are a multidimensional being, and you very easily can go in between the 3D, 4D, 5D frequencies. So we're learning how to navigate these different frequencies right now. The 5D frequency is here on Earth. It's just a matter of aligning your frequency with that frequency, and then basically you're stepping into the kingdom of heaven. It's not a place. It's not somewhere you float off to when you go. It is a conscious state of mind. It's being in touch with who you truly are and healing those parts of us that kind of got banged up along our journey. So the next energy I'm picking up here today is the Temperance card. This is Sagittarius energy, card number 14. And this is about being patient as we learn to manipulate the energy of our emotions. Emotions and thoughts are just energy, and when an emotion comes up and it's negative, it is identifying an area in our life that we need to kind of put a microscope on, examine it, and heal it, and then transmute the energy into something positive and kind of be grateful for the lesson, forgive the people involved, forgive ourselves. Now, this energy that we can recognize, manipulate, change, and redirect, because we are the co-creators and master manifestors of our reality. I just saw 800. It's about balance and integration. And the result is we simply are here to recognize where we can try and do better and where we can find more balance. Now, I've had this come up for me. This is a little personal. I don't share too much personal stuff, a little bit, but I have had this come up again and again where I was challenged, where I felt attacked. I was challenged where I felt someone was manipulating me or trying to take advantage of me. Now, I saw the energy, I identified it, but I didn't pause to kind of get control of my emotions, so I kind of reacted out in anger. Now, our words are very powerful, so we need to wield our power responsibly because it's an energy, right? So every situation we are striving to kind of stay at that neutral point, stay in that now moment, not projecting things to the past, not going off on somebody because you've been taken advantage of before, so all those old wounds come up and you nail that person, right? I am guilty of this. I am working on this. I want to fight back. I want to be the warrior. I want to put this person in their place, and I want to let them know that you have hurt me. But you need to learn to do that. I need to learn to do that in a gentle, soft, feminine, empress tone, right? You can do those things and express yourself gently and with compassion and kindness rather than with anger. But that is not easy to do. I'm struggling with that. I'm just going to be honest. And I have it come up again and again and again over the last couple of months where the universe just says, you're going to learn to take a break here and breathe before you respond to something. And that is about being the observer, the student, where you see the emotion popping up, you identify it. For me, it's anger, right? Just straight straight up divine masculine, pissed off anger where I want to fight, but that's because I'm coming from a state of being a wounded warrior. I've been in the wounded warrior mode my entire adult life from trauma. So that divine masculine energy is like kind of overemphasized, right? So it's at its extreme. It wants to fight. It wants to go to battle. It wants to be the protector. So we're learning how to kind of calm down that divine masculine energy, like I said, myself included. And the universe really wants us to get this, because once we become balanced, we enjoy the ride. We don't have these extremes of these highs and lows in regards to the situation, people, places, things, events that happen in our life. We stay more neutral as the observer, and we see what it is we can learn through this lesson. So the final energy I'm picking up here today is the Five of Wands in the reverse. Now, fives are a card of change. Wands are about your passion and desires. And the Five of Wands is about avoiding conflict is a trauma response. So the other extreme is that you let somebody walk all over. You don't stand up for yourself. You don't point out indiscretions and where someone's being taken advantage of you. You sit in this tendency to just avoid conflict and be completely passive aggressive. That does just as much damage and imbalance as going to the extreme and being angry and telling somebody off, right? I just don't want to make waves. My lovely, beautiful listeners, that is a trauma response. To not have your emotions validated when you were a child. Maybe even you were punished or spanked for being too emotional. Who remembers this one, right? I'll give you something to cry about. Oh gosh. Think about that. You're crying, expressing your emotions, and the person that is supposed to be showing you love and compassion is literally threatening physical pain. I'll give you something to cry about. Awful, awful, very, very toxic belief pattern. System, old school. We know that coming out of the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even the 90s, that is very detrimental to the well-being of a child's growing up and maturing and having self-worth. You're saying your emotions are not valid. I don't want to hear them. Instead of processing them and understanding them and healing them, at a young age, you're being shut down, saying, no, I don't want to hear it. Don't cry. Go cry over there somewhere else. So to avoid punishment or being chastised, maybe being made fun of because of your emotions, who has heard, you're so sensitive, you take everything so serious. Well, where do you think that comes from? The Joker. Why so serious? Because we've been wounded. That's a trigger for us. If someone is going to manipulate us, try to take advantage of us, deliberately and maliciously try to hurt us and try to invoke pain on us, our first instincts is to be triggered, and it's to fight back. It's to, put on our full armor, grab our sword, and it's to go fight, because that's what we've had to do. That's how we have lived up until now. What we see here is you avoid all conflict by burying them deep and not revealing these wounds to anyone. You don't want people to know, but they come out in your relationships. Our wounds are reflected in our relationship. So if this is something you're guilty of and you blow up and you self-sabotage something because you can't keep your mouth shut, well, you're probably finding that pattern again and again, just like I am. If it isn't the student loan lady, it's a sales call. If it isn't the sales call, it's a bill collector. If it's not one of my Airbnb guests, it's my child, my grown child. It just kept repeating the cycle, and it's trying to teach me to, take 10 deep breaths and chill out before you respond to a highly charged emotional situation. I'm learning, but we want to feel safe. These links, these inner child wounds are attached to our mother and father wounding. Even if it's unintentional, you have to forgive your parents and heal harboring any resentfulness towards them, because you have to allow them the space that they were a spiritual, energetic being who was also wounded in their childhood and then brought those wounds into their household as they grew up an adult and had children themselves, right? They didn't heal it. They didn't know to heal it. So you just continue this generational curse or this pattern. But we are here today to break these generational curses, Ophiuchus. This reading is all about the universe saying, I love you, but you need to see this. You need to take a look at this. Whether you are this individual who is got this anxiety and they're letting their ego system control their emotions, like mine was. I mean, I'm not going to be the pot calling the kettle black. I'm going to take accountability for my actions, and I'm going to say, this is something I am learning to do differently. And when we look at things differently and when we react differently, it allows us to stay in our frequency, and it even set an example for the person who has wronged us. I think that's what the Bible really meant by when it says turn the cheek. It's like, don't give them back the same energy that they gave us. Give them a different energy, even if it kills you, right? Give them love, compassion, understanding, stand up for yourself. Yes, put up your boundaries, and if they don't like it, too bad. That's what we're here to do. And then, to be patient with ourselves, to be patient as we're learning how to balance these energies as an energetic being. And don't avoid conflict. If you're avoiding something right now, something you don't want to do, a conversation you don't want to have, I would probably recommend to you that this is the first thing that you should go take a look at, that you should sit with and ask the universe to show you what it is you need to see. Maybe this reading, you resonated with this, okay? If you did, subscribe, join the community, A Sunshine for the Soul. Don't lose me in YouTube land. If this resonated and you're like, okay, Cyndi, yep, I'm seeing this. This is an area of my life where I blow my top. I flip out. You can resonate with, not being very patient. You can resonate with this idea of avoiding conflict where you're so passive aggressive that you get walked all over, and then you feel like your emotions aren't validated. You're repeating that same cycle as your parents, not validating your emotions when you're a child. Avoiding conflict is a trauma response. So all this can be healed. And I'm going to read you the healing card from my Angel Oracle card. Our first card was about first breath and give yourself a break. Again, it just went right into suit with being patient with yourself. But this healing card was so beautiful. It just seems relevant when we're talking about, I love you, but you need to see this. Whether it's your counterpart saying you need to see this, whether it's the universe saying you need to see this, either way, this is a message from your spirit guides saying that this is something that needs to be addressed within your life. It's being brought to your attention here in this reading. And if it resonates with you, hit that 1111 in the comment section. Claim this for yourself, that this is something you want to heal. It says, listen to your heart. Love is the greatest healer. It has the capacity to balance and heal your emotions, thoughts, and perceptions, which in turn will heal you physically. Your angels are here with you and will help dissolve your fears. Trust in the power of love to guide you, and your life will magically transform. This card is confirmation that healing is occurring right now. So in closing, I'm going to say to you, Ophiuchus, in the month of February, if there is something that is burdening your heart and you resonated with this reading and you want to call in some healing, the universe is supporting this. If you recognize this as an inner child wound, I can tell you what I'm doing right now. I am simply looking at that little girl who was hurt, who didn't feel validated, who felt lonely, who felt misunderstood, and I am just simply sitting there with her. Sometimes we don't need to resolve any issues like by talking. Sometimes we just need to sit and say, I'm there for you. You got a friend going through a hard time? Maybe advice isn't the thing to give them. Maybe it's just say, hey, I know you're struggling right now, and I'm going to sit with you. I'm here for you. If you need something or if you need to vent, I am an open vessel for you. And that's, I think, the best we can do, is to really forgive ourselves in this process, because we're all learning. None of us are better or worse than each other. We're all on the same staircase of ascension. We are just on different steps. And I just saw 2112. If someone I'm speaking with that resonates with you, claim that in the comment section. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, you guys. I hope you got a different perspective, maybe some advice for a situation that you were struggling with. I encourage you just to connect with your spirit guides and sit in a quiet place and just ask them to guide you to heal these inner child wounds. It's a beautiful thing to do your healing and to start coming out on the other side. All right. Well, peace and love this beautiful holiday season coming up. It's all about the love. Doesn't mean romantic. It's platonic. And in this case, this is all about love of self. This is about getting it right for ourselves. Okay. I love that for you, Ophiuchus. Peace and love, everybody.
Yeah.